Hello, this is Lakshmikant Tiwari. Welcome back to you second tutorial of audio recording and playing tutorial. So we have covered the first tutorial. If you have not seen it, you can see it. So it is a linear layout. We have many buttons here, especially the 4 buttons, and the button IDs is button 1, button 2, button 3 and the button 4. So we are going to initialize these buttons into main activity.java file. So we can do it into onCreate method, right? So we have initialized button 1, button 2 and the button 3 and the 4, and now we need to initialize it here. So the button 1 is corresponding to the button start. You can see here button 1 is corresponding to the button start, that is the record, okay, and this one is the stop, and third button is play, and the fourth button is stop playing, right? So what we can do, we can give a name there. It was button 1, button 2, let's change its name, right? Button 1, button 2 and the button 3. So let's change the name of the button 1 is button start, okay, and then change this name to button stop. I think that would be, the more easy to see things, right? And this one we can say button play last record, okay, and we can say this one button stop playing, right? Now this button name would convey the better meaning. So the first we want button start, so we can do button start is equal to button typecasting, okay, and then find v by id and then r.id dot button 1, and then we can say button stop, second one, okay, and then we need to cast it with the button, and then again find v by id r.id dot button 2, okay, and similarly we want button play last recording, okay, so that is corresponding to the button 3, so it would be the find v by id r.id dot button 3, right, and then button stop playing, it would be button equal to find v by id r.id r.id dot button 4. Perfect. So we have initialized our button wave, and what we can do, suppose that at start there would not be any, the first time there would not be any recording. So what we can do, we can disable stop button, play record buttons and stop playing buttons, right? So we can say here button start dot set enable, that is false, and then button stop playing dot set enable, that would be false, and then we can say button play last record dot set enable, that we can say false. So now only button, I think the button start must be enabled. We want button stop to be disabled, to be false, right? So now we have button stop playing and play last record would be into false position. Let's see how it would look like. However, we have not implemented media recording, but at least we can see interfaces, waves on the screen, how it will look like. installing the application. Let it install. See here how it look like. Yes, see here how it is look like. Since app is starting the first time, that's why I stop playing it disabled, right? Even if I press here the record, nothing will happen since I have not implemented button click set on click listener, right? So now we need to implement set on click listener. Okay, so we can do it with the button start dot set on click listener. First of all, that set on click listener, then again new new on click listener. Okay, so if I press start button, okay, start recording, it must start record. Okay, so but before recording we need to check the permission. So what we can do here, we need to check permission. So let's create um, um, method to check permission, right? So we can create here a method check permission. Okay, so it will check a permission of external storage and audio record. Okay, so let's first create a check permission. Okay, so as you know, I have given permission into Android manifest.xml, but after Android lollipop we need to check a permission into runtime. Okay, perfect. So what we can do here, we can write here, let's say public boolean type. If it returns 1, that's mean the permission. If it returns 0, that's mean permission denied. Okay, so let's check permission. Okay, perfect. So check permission. So first of all, that let's take the result, int result equal to context. Okay, so we want here context compact dot check self permission, and now we need get application context. Okay, and in get application context we want write external storage. Okay, write underscore I think something is missing. WRIT, right? It must. I do not know why this error is coming. Let's write external and then storage, right? Okay, so I think I have not defined it as a public static final. I need to define it at as a public static final. Check permission. Somehow I am missing something. Let me check what I am missing here. Actually it must come here as a, the right external storage. Somehow something got missing. I may not have imported. It's the permission which I want. I think I press option and enter. Constant field. No, I think I haven't imported this external storage. I may have done some mistake here in Android manifest. Right, external storage is there, then why it is setting import storage Android manifest permission. Let's import it and check what is happening here. Nothing happened here. I had that write external storage permissions already. I do not know why this error came. Anyway, so now we can go forward. Okay, so that's came for write external storage, and now we need to test the another result. That could be result 1, and that result 1 would be again context compact dot check self permission, okay, of a get application context. Okay, so we want get application context, and then again we want record audio in permission, right? Perfect. Now what we need to return? Now we can return result 1 and result 2, right? So now we can return result equal to package package manager. Now we can return as a package manager, and then dot permission granted. Okay, and result 1 equal to, of course it would be same, a package manager dot permission granted. Perfect. Somehow it's getting error. It's a kind of saying error because of and then cannot be applied to the intent. So what we can do, we can make it boolean, right? So let's make it boolean. If I make it boolean, then it found int. So what I can do, I can again make it int. So it's package manager. Oh, sorry, I do not need to do. Yes, so it must be result equal to if this result equal to package manager dot permission granted, that result, and result 1 equal to the package manager and permission granted. So if this condition passes, then it will return 1, otherwise it will return 0. Okay, so this is the check for permission into the runtime. And now suppose that if I check the permission, if it is 1, that's fine, but suppose that if it is not 1, that means permission is not granted, then we need to request the permission. Okay, so let's write a code for a request permission. Okay, so we can write as a private void request permission. Okay, so request permission, fine. So now here activity compact dot request permission. Okay, so in the main activity dot this, and now we need new string, right? So in a string we want few permissions, which those permissions are write external storage and record audio, right? And we want request permission code. So what we can do, this one, request permission code. Perfect. I think now it would request the permission from the user. Okay, so now on request permission result, what we need to do, so what we can do, we can press a Control and O. Now on request permission result, we want on request permission result override function. Okay, so in this function, if you see here, a request code, a permission, and grant result. Okay, so what we can do here, we can apply here a switch case. In a switch case, we can apply here a request code. Okay, and then we can apply here few cases. So the case 1 would be request permission code. Okay, So it would be the request permission code. Perfect. So what does it mean? I mean, on request permission, and here is request permission code. So if this request, anything happen to this request permission, it would come to here and it would check, okay, and it would match this request permission code. Suppose that if you are having many request permissions, then this switch case would be very useful to identify which request permission function or method has requested to get the permission. Okay, so if case is request permission code, and in that case, if grant results is dot length equal to it's greater than 0, then what we need to do, we need to get a storage permission. So what we can do, boolean storage permission equal to grant result 0. Okay, and if it is equal to package manager dot permission granted. Okay, so we want package manager dot permission granted. Perfect. And similarly, now we want here, okay, here we want boolean that is storage permission. Now we want for record permission. So for record permission, grant result, that is 1 equal to package manager dot permission granted, right? Now again we need to check with the if condition. If storage permission and record permission both are 1, if storage permission and record permission, okay, equal to 1, then we need to give a toast to say that permission is granted. Okay, else again we can show a toast, and in toast permission denied. Okay, perfect. And after this, what we can do, we can break this case. Now I think we are done with the on request permission result and check permission and request permission, right? Okay, great. Now let's come to in main activity, on create activity, right? So in on create activity, if we come here, so now we need to write our code into button start dot set on click listener. So first of all, that we need to get an audio save path in device, audio save path in device. I'm going to give just a name here. Okay, that means it would only store a single audio, and it, if you want to record the next audio, it will override the previous one with the same name. Okay, so here you can say audio record dot 3gpp. Okay, perfect. Now we want media recorder ready. Okay, so what we can say, a media recorder and ready. This is a method. I am going to create a new method here, media recorder ready. So media recorder ready would make a media recorder ready. Okay, So I can create that media recorder ready here, public void, and then media recorder ready. It will initialize all variables and parameters of a microphone, that is media recorder. So I already have a media player and the media recorder. So here I want media recorder equal to again new media recorder. Right now in media recorder dot set audio channels into I think we do not need set audio channels, right? So what we want here, audio source, we want audio source. So in audio source we want media recorder dot audio source and dot mic. Okay, and now if in another media recorder dot set, again set audio source. Now we don't need audio source, now we want audio encoder. Okay, in audio encoder we want AMR NB. So what we can say, media recorder dot audio encoder dot AMR NB, right? And now we want set output format. So media recorder dot set output format. So the output format is 3GPP, that is media recorder dot output format dot 3GPP. And apart from this we want set output file. Okay, so the media recorder dot set output file, and into the set output file we want audio save path in device. Okay, so this is a media recorder ready, and now I think we can go ahead. So we have called here a media recorder ready. It will make ready our recorder with the microphone and with the proper encodings and file path. So now let's put a try and the catch method to prepare our recorder, media recorder. Okay, so the media recorder dot prepare. Now it is about to start its recording. Now again media recorder dot start. Okay, now it would start the record. Okay, so this try and the catch is unhandled exception, so we want to add here the catch also. So there could be a illegal stack exception. So for stack exceptions, let's see the E, and now we want E dot print stack trace, right? And another one could be the IO exception. Okay, so IO exception E, and into IO exception E again we want print stack, right? Now you can see the error has gone, and once the start has enabled, once you start your audio recording, now we are going to enable our other buttons. Suppose that once recording starts, so now we need to enable stop and play and other stop playing buttons. However, we only need to enable a stop, and here now button start dot set enable, that must be the false. We cannot press it 2 times. And another one is the button stop, that must be set enables true. Okay, now here one more thing I would like to tell you. You can see the code is not formatted properly. So what you can do on Mac, you can press command control and command option and L. Okay, so command option L, it would automatically the reformat your code in a proper way. Now we want to show recording has been started. Okay, so in a form of the toast we can say recording started. Okay, so this is if and else condition. So suppose that I earlier told you, if check permission is not granted, now we need to ask for permission. So we need to implement here else. So else, I mean if permission is not to record audio, now we will request permission, right? So here we can simply request permission. Okay, request permissions. Sorry, sorry, it was a request permission. Perfect. So it would call request permission, and request permission would call for write external storage and the audio, record audio, and then it will pass a request permission code to on request permission result, and it will check this case on request permission code, and if it founds the request has came from this on request permission, then it would ask for user permission. Perfect. Now I think we are done with the button start dot set on click listener. Now we need to implement button stop dot set on click listener. Okay, button stop dot set on click listener, and here we need another wave on click listener, and into public on wave. Here we need a lot of things to do. First of all, that it is a stop, so we need media recorder dot stop. First of all that, okay, and now we want our button stop dot set enable to false, so that the person cannot press the stop button 2 times. And now we want our button play last record dot set enable to true, and also we want our button start dot set enable to true, so that the person after stopping can start its recording again. Okay, and we want button stop playing, since it is just stopped, so dot set enable I would like to make it as a false, right? And now we need another toast here which will show recording completed. Recording completed, right? Okay, now we are done with the button stop. Now what we need to do, now we can say button play last recording. Okay, dot set on click listener. Okay, so new on click listener. In a wave we need to first go with the our I mean the illegal argument exception. Suppose that if anything happens, so what we need to do, we need to throw here, oops, THROU. Suppose that if you want to play some recording which is not available into the memory, it would throw an exception. So that exception is illegal argument exception. So if it's illegal argument exception, right? So if it throws illegal argument exception, or it can also throw a security exception, and it can also throw illegal state exception. Okay, so these are the exceptions which may occur, and after that we need to make here button stop false dot set enable. It must be the false, and now button is playing, I mean its record is playing a last record. So what we can do, we can also make false button start. So button start, we need to make it also false. Okay, and apart from this, we want to make button stop playing dot set enable to true, so that it can stop playing at any time. Media recorder, it's a button play last record. Here we want media player. Okay, so the media player is equal to the new media player. Okay, so the media player has been initialized. Now we need to put some code into our try and catch exception handler. So it's media player dot set data source, I mean the file from which I want to play my audio. It's the audio source file, right? And then what I can say, media player dot prepare, it would start playing. And then catch, to catch, suppose that if IO exception happens, then we can simply print stat trace. Now everything has been prepared. Now we can just start our media player dot start. Perfect. Now we can put a toast here. We can say here recording, last recording, I can say here last recording playing. Okay, perfect. Now we want button stop playing recording. Suppose that if last recording is playing and anytime you want to press stop playing recording, it would stop that recording immediately. So we want here button, sorry, I think yes, we want here button stop playing dot set on, button stop playing dot set on click listener, and new again on click listener, right? So now what we want here, we want to stop playing at any time. So what we can do there, just media player dot stop and media player dot release. So before that we need to set our buttons also. So the button stop dot set enable, it must be false. Okay, and then button start dot set enable, it must be true. Okay, and button stop playing, okay, it dot set enable must be false, and button play last record dot set enable must be true. Okay, so now we are done with the button configuration. Now let's check into if condition. If media player not equal to null, that's mean media player is playing. Okay, then we want to make simply